This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Sir, time to talk to the man that sports the satin shirts and the double belts better than anyone ever, Navarro. How you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
Doing great, brother. Just visiting my parents up here in St. Augustine, spending a little time with them before we head up to Georgia for our family vacation.
All right, nice. Where are you guys going in Georgia?
Blue Ridge. Got a cabin up in the mountains, and we'll be up there for about a week, so it should be fun.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice, man. Blue Ridge Mountains. I like that. That's the plan, Stan. I like that. I like it. All right. So talk to us Canes wise. What has developed this week? What have you picked up from that whole stadium stuff? Has anything come from that so far?
Well, I mean, it's interesting to see what John Ruiz and his people are designing in terms of the vision for Tropical Park and potentially what a stadium there could look like. But again, I think we're so early in this process, and I've yet to really hear anything from the side where they're seriously entertaining any of this stuff in terms of moving forward and taking big steps. I think it's nice to see the rendering.
Importantly, what about on the city side? Forget you. Before you can get excited, what do we know about the city, the county being? I don't know. Does the county get involved in this, or is it just a city thing? I'm not smart enough for that, my brother.
I think Tropical Park is part of the county.
Okay.
So I mean that would require the county obviously agreeing to it, and then of course because they're under contract at Hard Rock Stadium. What year was it through? Is it 2032 or something? I forget what year it is, but
I think it's 35. I think you said.
I thought it was 30. I thought it was another 10
no, you
years.
would know more than me.
I think I'm trying to remember because now with the realignment contracts, I have all those numbers in my head, right? The ACC and the grant of rights. So the grant of rights for the ACC is through 2036. I think the stadium deal is through 2032.
Yeah, you're probably
right. So anyway, I mean, there's 10 years left on that contract with the Dolphins, and so there's a lot of hurdles to be passed, but Ruiz and his people are trying to sell the vision of what they see Tropical Park being. But there's a lot of other steps to get to before anything really happens.
All right. The class recruiting rankings. Now, again, caveat, we hope these kids are still committed by the end of the year next year.
Yeah.
We hope they don't end up transferring after their freshman year because they don't like what position they're in and what depth they're in or whatever. So having said all that about recruiting, the rankings continue to fly up, man. It seems like every other day you guys are reporting about a newer 4 or 5-star guy committing.
Yeah, it's really been an incredible run they've been on basically since about the middle of June. They've got 14 commitments. I think right now they're 8th in the country in the rankings. They had gotten to as high as 7, but other teams are obviously adding players too, so it's always sort of changing when those other schools add commitments. My intel suggests that there's 4 guys that they're probably going to add here in the next week or so. 3 of them that already have sort of announced their the dates that they're going to make their commitments. Olausalinen, the 4-star offensive tackle, was one of the first visitors in June. A kid out of Finland that we've talked about quite a bit. He's going to announce on the 22nd. Jaden Bonsu, a 4-star safety out of New Jersey. He's going to announce on the 20th, which is Wednesday. So next Wednesday, Bonsu. Friday is Alinen, and then the 23rd is Malik Bryant, who's a 4-star linebacker out of Orlando Jones High School. He played at Bradenton IMG Academy the last 2 years, went back home to his Orlando school. Those 3 guys, I'm told are probably going to pick Miami, and these are victories that would go head-to-head over schools like Ohio State and Alabama. So more big wins here sort of expected for Miami. And then the other one is the 5-star offensive tackle, Samson Okunlola, a kid out of Massachusetts. There was a whole bunch of crystal balls, the 247 guys is projecting him, the On3 Sports guys projecting him as well. So all stuff that I've heard myself independently talking to people on that they're very confident with those 4 guys. If they get those 4 guys, it'll be the best. It'll already be the best recruiting class without even the full allotment. The 18 guys, they get those 4. It'll be the best recruiting class Miami's had in the modern era. since all these other networks sort of started putting things together in the last 15 years. So, Mario's just kicking ass, man. They're in it for a lot of different guys. Jonel Aguero is another one, a 5-star safety out of Massachusetts who played down here. Hispanic kid whose parents bonded with Mario. It's either going to be Miami or Georgia for him. So this is going to be a signature class. Oh, and there was a report. There's a guy who puts out this blue chip ratio percentage every single year. I don't know if you've seen these reports in the past, but
No.
essentially it's how much of a percentage is your team blue chip recruits. And if you look at it, like Alabama's 87%, Ohio State's 81%, Georgia's 84%. Like they're all ridiculous. And then the rest of the country, like Miami's 55%. So if you're going to win a championship, you got to be way up there. And that's the one thing I kept telling people throughout all this, because everybody loved to point the fingers.
Kept mentioning that all the time.
Yeah, and Mario, I mean, that's his gift. His gift is recruiting. You have to be maniacal. And for years, people are like, "Oh no, it's the player develop." No, man, like you got to get good talent in the door,
and then develop it. Of course, you still have to develop it, but you're not going to make the 1-star guy play like a 4-star guy. It's just not going to happen, bro.
No.
Now, yeah, there'll be some 3-star guys that'll slip through, and you can make them pretty damn special. But more often than not, your coaching can only take you so far. And the one thing I will say about recruiting now compared to back in the day, less are getting through the cracks because there's more film than ever. Everybody can put stuff out nowadays. Everybody has the technology now to record everything and put everything out. Back, just 5 to 10 years ago, smaller schools, you weren't going to get good film. You weren't going to really know too much about the guy. Nowadays, everybody's on ESPNU or this or that or ESPN3, and everybody's got cameras and everybody's got digital cameras and everybody can record every type of play and game that goes on. So now it's a little easier to target all these guys. Whether you're accurate or not is one thing, but you're still able to target these guys a lot easier nowadays.
Well, and I would say what's also changed is, like the 7-on-7 team, the South Florida Express. I mean, they travel all over the country to play in tournaments, and a lot of these kids are visiting Ohio State 2 and 3 times from South Florida. They're going to LA and visiting with Lincoln Riley out there. So it's not like there's some big gap. These relationships start early when these kids are young, and so they're national recruits since the 9th, 10th, 11th grade, and that's a huge advantage for those other schools where before they didn't get a chance to develop those relationships until these guys were juniors and seniors.
Yep. One more thing before I let you go. Rosendo is asking, Manny, according to college football expert Phil Steele, the Hurricanes enter the 22 season with the 4th most experienced offensive line group in the country. Do you agree with Mr. Steele? And then I would add, how good can they be?
Yeah, I think, look, they've got 3 bona fide starters, DJ Scaife, Ja'Kai Clark, and Zion Nelson. They've got other guys who've got experience, like Justice Olawasun, the kid who transferred last year from Houston, started a few games. So I think maybe in terms of starts, they probably are the 4th most experienced. But, I think this offensive line right now is just as good as last year's was, because I didn't think last year's was that bad. I thought, running the ball, they obviously could have been better. But pass protection wise, they did a pretty decent job.
They gave Van Dyke time to throw. Yes,
he had time to throw. So it's been an upgrade over the few previous years when they were among the worst in the country, right? That said, I expect it to be much better in the ground game. And will they be the 4th best offensive line? I don't know. I mean, Alex Mirabal, he'd have to work some miracles, him and Mario, at that position, because you think of great offensive lines, you think of the Alabamas, the Georgias, the guys that just maul you up front and run the football down your throat. I think they're going to be better coached. I think you're going to see more combo blocking. And I think you'll probably see a top 3 or 4 offensive line in the ACC. I don't want to call them top 3 or 4 in the country. I think that's an overreach.
All right, don't forget, folks, go to caneswear.com if you don't live in the area. But if you do, go to 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Get an Inter shirt for the game tonight. Get a Marlin shirt for the game tonight. Get some Canes wear. They got everything and anything with a Canes logo. There's Dolphins gear. There's Miami Heat gear. There's Florida Panthers gear. Brett and Company, they've got it covered. And of course, you can order online. All orders over $99, you will get free shipping. Follow Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And of course, subscribe to The Athletic. Great way to keep up with the Canes. Manny, as always, thank you, my friend. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the vacation. We'll catch up later on.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.